I'm so sick of it. What we're doing here. I mean, I'm enjoying speaking.
Wow.
But I don't want to hear
He literally dismisses the podcast as he speaks on one. We've entered the,
somebody that would like this shit.
This is episode 41 of 1F Jeff.
41 is the number just past the ordeal. Across mystical traditions, 40 is the sacred threshold, the flood, the desert, the fast, which makes 41 the first breath on the other side. The I Ching's 41st hexagram, Sun, captures this perfectly. Voluntary sacrifice, giving something up as an act of trust rather than loss. In Pythagoreanism terms, the 4 and the 1 are intention, structure versus the solitary will. The person who has built something solid but hasn't yet made peace with being alone inside it.
Hello, my friends. Hello once again. How about this? We're back on our regular schedule. Huh? Anybody? I'm proud of myself. I hope that you're proud of me too. I said once I am in Mexico City and settled down a bit, we will get back to a regular schedule for this podcast. And here we are. So, go me. Go me. And as also promised, I am releasing an interview this week. And that interview is with Jack Hopkins.
Jack Hopkins, also known as Jack Hoppy, is a filmmaker, writer, musician, and visual artist. He co-wrote and acted in the short film According to Plan and releases self-produced music, including Squalor and Couchsurfing. His visual art and broader work reflect a DIY self-direct approach focused on experimentation and personal expression.
I recorded this conversation almost a year ago, before I even started making this podcast. I used a few clips of it in the first episode, but I didn't release the entire thing because, as you'll hear, Jack and I got progressively more intoxicated as the interview progressed. And we ended up recording for almost 3 hours, much of which was fairly incoherent. But I live in Mexico City now, and last week I went back and listened to what we'd recorded. And I discovered that it was actually more entertaining and less incoherent than I remembered. And I cut it down to an hour, which helped. I do need to include a disclaimer, though. If this episode had a rating, it would be a solid R. There's quite a bit of swearing and talk about drugs and sex and so forth and so on. So probably don't listen with your kids or with yourself if you don't like listening to abject subject matter. Mom, you've been warned. I met Jack Hopkins a few years ago outside the Summit Music Hall in Columbus, Ohio. The film group that we were both in was having a gathering, but there was a band playing, so nobody could talk inside, so people just started going outside. I was just standing outside nursing a drink, and this young, interesting-looking dude walks out of the bar, and we just start talking. And yeah, there was just like an immediate connection with me and Jack. It's like we knew each other before. It's like we were just picking up a conversation we'd started long ago. And we've been friends ever since. Jack's about half my age. He's about 26 right now, I think. And he invited me to a party at his house, I don't know, 6-7 months ago. And a lot of people at the party thought that I was Jack's dad, which I wasn't necessarily offended by, but I was also offended by. Anyway, now that I am in Mexico, I miss my friend Jack. I hope he comes to visit. And I hope you enjoy listening to this conversation with him as much as we clearly enjoyed having it. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being here. Here's Jack Hopkins criticizing the sturdiness of the table I had in my podcasting studio in Columbus, Ohio.
Dude, this table is fucking wobbly.
It's not that bad.
Okay.
Well,
okay.
We've got a guest and we're already complaining about the table. Interesting.
Sorry. Yeah, it's a beautiful table.
So here we are. Jack Hopkins.
They call me Hoppy, actually.
Hoppy.
You don't call me Hoppy, but my friends call me Hoppy.
No, I refuse to call you Hoppy.
You don't
I feel
have
like
to.
It's
all right.
Yeah. How long have people been calling you Hoppy?
That's like 4 years. No, I didn't grow up with it. Jack Hoppy. I don't know.
Does your girlfriend call you Hoppy?
No, she doesn't.
That's
She did originally, and I actually had to say, please don't do that.
You can't have that.
I don't like that. Yeah.
No, it's not sexy.
And then when she refers to me to other people, she's like, yeah, Hoppy's over there. I'm like, What are you doing, man? I don't like. You got any nicknames?
Yeah, no, it's me.
Tweety?
No, a big dick, master, huge dick, big giant dick.
On the street. I've heard that. Yeah, they're like, "Where's Big Dick at?" I'm like, "Oh, Jeff. Yeah, he's over there."
Knows. Yeah. No real nicknames to speak of. No, I remember having girlfriends back in the day, and like one girlfriend, Laura, she wanted to like come up with nicknames for each other. And the one she came up for me was Bunny. And I was like, no, absolutely not.
Similar to Hoppy.
Yeah.
No, Bunny is a little too cute.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah. So we never came up with nicknames, and then she cheated on me. Hey.
Oh, God. So that's a red
maybe
flag.
If we came up with nicknames, then maybe she wouldn't have cheated on me.
If it was a good nickname, it would have been a green flag.
Yeah, although I don't know
Like
that there'd be
Spike.
Spike. I don't think I'd be Spike
Or
either.
Danger. Yeah, something like that.
So, like growing up, what was your life like? Tell me, like high school.
Yeah. Okay, so I mean, like I like sports. I've always liked sports, but the second that a grown man started to get mad at me, a 7-year-old, for not doing it right, I immediately was like, no, I don't want to do this
Old
anymore.
People ruin sports.
I know.
Kids,
why did they care that much?
Just
I mean,
let them
it's,
play. Just
living
let them play.
vicariously through a 7-year-old. And at the time, I thought it was weird. And now I'm looking back on it, and I'm like, yeah, I was right. I was fucking right.
It's worse now than it was then, probably.
It was weird.
What sport was this?
I tried them all. I liked baseball the most because I have hand-eye coordination. I'm not athletic. I like to separate the two. I don't want to run for longer than, a couple minutes
Unless
at
you're
a time.
being chased, right?
Yeah, I don't want to do that either. No, but I just, I wasn't athletic and everybody else was athletic. It's Dublin, Ohio. It is a fucking green suburb. When I talk about it like this, I feel like the angsty, like, I got to get out of this town, man. They don't believe in me. But that is how
you got out of Dublin.
That's how I felt, though. And I remember my big brother was, he was athletic effortlessly, and he wouldn't study, and he would get fucked up all the time and just get straight A's. 36 on the ACT, whatever, doesn't care. I'll study and I'll study and I'll study, and I'll still get a C plus, even if I studied all night, it doesn't matter.
No, retention.
ADD, I don't know, and I would double guess myself. So I didn't, grades would fail. I wasn't very good at sports. I was tiny. In a huge school, I was still like the third smallest kid in the class for a while there. I'm still small, but now I can blend in with the crowd a little more. I don't stand out or anything like that.
Were you good at sports?
No. Oh. No, I wasn't. Like, right. I liked them, but I got nervous. I got really fucking nervous, But then I grew to a certain age where I was like, I don't have grades. I don't have sports. I'm tiny. I'm angsty. What do I do? How do you get respect fast? I was like, well, I'm just going to openly do drugs. I'm going to be like the stoner kid.
Got to find your identity. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I watched Dazed and Confused when I was a freshman, the summer before going into freshman year, and I was like, okay, when I meet stoners at my school, I'm kind of like, I want them to like me. And I'm like, okay, let's just do that. Let's just put it all on the table.
Like Slater.
But a little. They were more menacing. I was more Slater-esque. The stoners at my school, they're kind of like tough.
Yeah.
Like they wanted to fight each other.
It's interesting that you mentioned Dazed and Confused, because I feel like when I was in high school and junior high, I feel like I got a lot of my ideas about my identity from movies, as opposed to like from a parental figure or an older adult. And I still think that actually affects the way that I see the world in a way, is like watching too many movies when I was a kid. And
you're preaching to the choir.
Right.
I mean, whatever I thought was like a cool guy, I would try to be, okay, these guys in these movies get laid. I'm going to try to act like that.
Right, as if that's real life. Right.
And no, it never worked.
Right. Then you get older and you realize,
what is that?
Yeah.
Are those movies not true? What's going on?
Right. Then you realize that it's all bullshit and you're like,
yeah, and I was really pissed about that. I was insecure as fuck, man. Oh,
yeah,
acne everywhere.
Yeah, me too.
Braces. Actually, I had braces from freshman year till senior year.
Me too. Not that period of time, but yeah. 3 years, 2 years, yeah.
I remember they wanted to keep it on going into college, and fucking orthodontists, man. They want to wring you dry. It was the
fucking worst, dude.
And once I caught on, and they were like, yeah, you're still off by a couple of millimeters. We recommend keeping it on. And I was 18 at the time. I was like, take them off.
Well, that's the game, right?
I'm like, I know you can. I know that I can say this now. You got to take them off my face now. And they like looked at my mom, and my mom was just shrugged. She's like, yeah, you heard the man.
I was such a nerd in middle school that, like, the nerdy kid, this kid Owen Priest, never forget, he slammed my head into a locker. Wow. Like, the nerdiest kid above me fucking hurt me.
Well, nerdy so or weird?
He was both. He was like the other outcast. He was like
a weird kid will slam anyone.
It was like two outcasts, but a nerd, vying for power or something. Yeah, it was fucking awful. One of us. Yeah, one weirdo. Middle school was the worst. That's when kids learn how to be assholes.
Yeah, I was bullied in middle school. That was the toughest one.
It was
High school was fine.
High school got better.
I had fun in high school, to be completely honest with you. But middle school, I had a lot of trouble.
What did you do in high school? Sports still or no?
No, that was when I went full stoner mode. Freshman year was funny. This transitionary period where I didn't know and I didn't really care. What was it? It was Young Life, which is...
Oh, I know what that is.
Yeah, it's a youth group going on. And really prevalent at my school, specifically with the seniors, with that class. And, these seniors come to the freshmen and they're like, hey, you want to hang out after school, like on a weekend night?
Love bomb.
You can... ride in my car. I was like, this is like Dazed and Confused, which is the exact opposite. So, we go to this basement, which sounds weird, but there were like, 50 people in the basement.
But they're Christians.
Just dancing around. It was a lot of fun, No drinking. I don't know. I was naive. I was like, didn't catch on to
that
maybe
they were
that
Christians.
Was a tell.
Right.
I kind of knew that they were. I knew that it was Christian-based, but then... You're dancing and dancing and dancing at the end of the night. And they're like, all right, now we pray. Like,
right.
Okay.
Gotta go.
But they did get me. I felt kind of cool for
That's how they
there.
Get you. They love bomb you.
Yeah. Oh, man, it was weird. I actually went to Young Life Camp.
Mm.
It's like 3 days in the woods in Saranac, New York.
Your parents probably liked it.
They're not Christian. They were just kind of like, okay,
hanging
sure.
out with good, wholesome people. Good, wholesome.
Nah, they always trusted me. I think they were just kind of confused. They're like, okay, sure, yeah. If you're finding God, that's not go for it.
Sure.
No, I just wanted to go because everyone I knew was all the freshmen got kind of roped in. And my girlfriend at the time was going and everything, and I was like, fuck it. I was an atheist at the time. My friends knew, my girlfriend knew, and I'm agnostic now. I don't really give a fuck.
Sure.
But at the time, I was, pseudo intellectual. I was like, "There's no God," like I knew, and but I would keep it a secret from the actual Young Life like seniors
because they're not going to let you in if you don't.
Yeah,
at least pretend.
Well, they did find out when I was there, and they made it a.
How did they find out?
Oh, people told them. I don't know. Word gets out.
You spoke a lot about how you didn't believe in God.
To my friends, and my friends, I'm sure, told
this
them.
whole God thing's bullshit, by the way, you guys.
That's right. And they had these weird games, man. Competitions, secret competitions.
Right, I could see that.
See who can convert the stoner kid.
Oh, my God.
And they would take me deep in the woods one at a time and to hammock. And they would give this is my personal Bible. I want to give it to you.
Sure.
Like if they could come out of that woods with that win, they would get so many brownie points with good old JC.
If only they just had a naked woman that you could fuck out there. They'd be like, that's how you get them in.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's premarital.
Right. But you just don't have to talk about it.
You're right. Yeah. Well, it would be the priest diddling me, actually. That's how that goes.
You know what Mormons do? Mormons can't have sex before they get married, so they'll do a thing. I forget the name of it. Soaking. Yeah. That's fucking crazy. Where they just put their dick near the vagina and have somebody...
They put it in.
Yeah, I couldn't figure it out where they actually put it in because it said there's not penetration. Like when I looked it up online, it said there wasn't penetration, so it seemed like maybe there's rubbing. I don't know. It could be either way. But then you have a friend involved under the bed.
Maybe it's the thrust that...
Maybe it's just the tip.
If you thrust, then it's considered penetration.
Maybe, yeah. I mean, what a weird religion that is, but just the tip.
Yeah, because the Mormon God is so dumb that it can't tell the difference between soaking and actual sex.
Dude, Mormonism is the fucking...
That's disrespectful to the Mormon God.
The Mormon underwear, you're good.
What's his name? John Smith?
And they're from, like, Ohio, too. They were up in Ohio until when they were... It was one of the big things. Was near northern Ohio, northwestern Ohio, northeastern Ohio. Mm-hmm. I forget the city, but they were living there, and then they got kicked out of there, and they kept moving, and then they finally got to Utah, and they were like, "All right,
this is where we're gonna settle."
Well, they're gonna have all our wives here and shit. Yeah,
our 20 wives.
I mean, the wife thing probably worked out
for the fellas. Yeah, definitely.
For the women, not so much.
They think it worked out for them, though. They're, they get brainwashed like hard, like all the fucking way.
So, stoner crowd, and how old were you when you got laid for the first time?
I was 21.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I had plenty of opportunities.
I'm sure you did.
I was so serious. Fucker.
Yeah, that's what
Look at this face. Come on.
I could have fucked as many chicks as I wanted.
No, I was in bed and I would be naked and I would just lie because I was just so scared.
Oh.
It's terrified. Or I'd have my underwear on and they'd be like, "What?" And I would just come up with something every time. It's the first it's happened like 5 times, you know, or like, I'd be like, "Oh, my best friend is actually in love with you. I can't go through with this." Or, "Oh, I remember in high school, I actually said, I'm just so tortured. I'm too tortured."
Wow.
Yeah. And it didn't make any sense to me or her. She was like,
right.
Okay.
But it worked. You didn't get laid.
Yeah, score.
Right. Yeah. I did it.
Yeah.
That's the movie you should write. That's the movie you should
Trying
write.
not to get laid.
Trying not to get laid. That's actually that's a title right there.
It was really fucking hard trying not to get laid, man. God damn.
Yeah, what a nightmare for you. Sorry you had to go through that.
No, and my first experience, I just lied. I was like, "Oh yeah, I've fucked."
What were you concerned about?
Not being good at it, I think, was the big one. Yeah, or like not either, coming too fast or not even being hard at all, definitely. Which was the case when I first got laid, I'll be honest with you.
Huh.
And then I was so pissed at myself. I was like, "You horny little bastard, you're finally doing it. You can't even get hard." And then a couple days later, I remember she was feeding me rails of crushed up Adderall all night. I'm like, "Oh fuck, I completely forgot what that does to your little ding dong."
That'll do it, yeah.
And I was so embarrassed,
So then you graduate high school incredibly, and what's your relationship with your parents like?
Me and my mom have always been very close. My dad and I, we're buddies.
Fathers and sons is tricky.
Yeah, we're buddies, He's pretty much like, I don't know, he reminds me of Adam Sandler. Like, he's just like, he can't be serious. It's very, very difficult for him to be serious.
Right.
So, when you can't ever be serious, you can't ever be vulnerable. And so when you can't ever be vulnerable, you can't ever form that strong a relationship. So I do dig, I poke and prod at him when, sometimes and be like, "What happened here?" When I, trying to figure out what was happening in his child. He had a crazy fucking childhood, man.
Vulnerability is tough for Midwesterners, and particularly like older.
From Jersey.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, they're usually blunt.
They usually
pretty
are.
Frank.
Yeah.
Well, that's the stereotype.
Yeah,
but he is all about like good vibe. Like he's a Jimmy Buffett guy. Like he grew up on the beach. So
like he literally listens to Jimmy Buffett.
Yeah, yeah. And
how do you feel? You like Jimmy Buffett?
I do because of him.
Which ones? Which songs?
We like. Trying to Reason with Hurricane Season,
like
things like that.
Everything rhymes in the Jimmy Buffett songs. Got to rhyme.
Yeah, they do. I don't like the hits. I don't.
Changes in attitude, changes in latitude.
Yeah, so you know a couple. Okay.
I know a few,
yeah, it's fun. It's dumb. No, but the instruments in Jimmy.
Hey,
Buffett
Margaritaville's a great song.
It is. I can't hear it anymore though. Growing up with it,
Some people say that there's a woman to blame, but they're right. It's all their fault.
Wait, but there's but as the story goes on, he progresses as a human. At the end, he says, "It's actually my fault." Yeah, see, Jimmy Buffett
I never thought about. I never looked into it.
Attention to these
it's a
beautiful, deep Jimmy Buffett lyrics.
Right.
I went to the last Jimmy Buffett show in Cincinnati, and that is where it's the biggest fan base. That's where they coined the term parrot head.
No shit.
Yeah, bigger than Key West.
I wonder why that is.
It's because nobody wants to be in Cincinnati. Nobody wants to be. When you're in Ohio,
no
you listen
to be in a lot of places, but
yeah. Well, since when you're in Ohio, you it's about island escapism. It's not about you're daydreaming.
Yeah, Columbus has sports though, so that's their Jimmy Buffett is. Columbus has got sports.
Yeah, I'm not gonna miss that. To be honest with you, I'm
it's my least favorite thing about the city is this cult.
It's most people's favorite. I'm we're a couple of snobs.
And more power to them. I was at I was watching the championship game with my cousin. My cousin loves sports, and we were watching the Ohio State championship game. It was with him and his kids, but there was some friend of his that I'd never met, and he was that guy who was really into Ohio State. And I'm just kind of watching it.
I like to say "let's go" a lot. Let's go.
I don't know if he said that, but so we're watching it, and I'm kind of like,
I'm watching a sporting event as I watch sporting events. I don't really like. I enjoy watching sports sometimes, but it's like I don't take it seriously. I want an entertaining game. If I'm going to watch it, I want an exciting back and forth or whatever, right? And so the game starts.
A lot of pausing and.
The game starts getting close, and I'm like, oh, well, at least it's exciting. And this guy's he's like, we don't want it to be close, blah 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 blah. And at the like, he was getting mad. He was getting if they lost, he may have like killed himself or started crying. Mm-hmm. And I think he did cry actually when they won.
Okay, so college I can understand. You're representing your school. But NFL, I will never understand that. That's just companies buying people. It's like, what do we...
Well, it's just professional sports. It's not any different than baseball or basketball. It's the same fucking thing.
Yeah, no, your allegiance to a company, basically. Because they're trading based on stats and...
Sure.
It's all arbitrary, you know? Who
yeah, I'm not arguing that. Although, as a Clevelander, like growing up watching the Cleveland Browns, I do have an affinity for them.
If anything, I would root for the Cleveland Browns just for underdog sake.
Yeah, that's what being from a Cleveland is all about. Yeah,
that I can get behind. Yeah. They did well, a few years back.
Yeah, I'll watch it. If they do well, I'll watch. If they do well, I'll start watching towards the end. That's the kind of sports fan I am. Is if the team's doing well at the end of the season,
bandwagon.
Then I pay. Exactly.
Yeah.
Like the Indians last year, the Guardians were there.
Yeah. Well, it also takes a lot of homework and like daily homework. I call it homework because I don't give a fuck.
I don't do any homework.
No, I just mean like people that are into sports. The way for people to connect, especially my family.
For sure.
They bring up the names and the stats and
oh yeah,
and
that. But
you gotta keep up with that shit constantly.
Just listen to the sports radio all the time. I think it was Noam Chomsky who said like if he was listening, he was like driving somewhere and he was listening to random radio stations, and he got on one of these sports radio stations, and he's listening to these people like analyze sports to this insane degree, and he's like, if people analyzed the way the world and the government works on the level that they analyze sports every day, then we'd actually have a different civilization right now.
Politics have turned into sports teams.
It's turned into reality TV.
Yeah, well, sports, it's like they see it as my team versus your team, no shades of gray, red versus blue, and then they treat sports like politics. They see the complexities of it all, and it's productive in a certain way. You can talk to someone without killing them. Politics, if you start talking politics with someone that has a little bit of a deviated opinion from what you believe, it's war.
It depends on the person.
Until you both decide at a certain point, let's stop talking about this, because you're not going to win anyone over unless they're a true on the fencer.
Which is really unfortunate, because that's not the way that it's meant to be. Like, we're meant to be able to have opinions that would change based on new information. Yeah. And it's unfortunate everybody's so locked into their, like, that's the problem with the world right now, aside from, everything. Yeah. Many problems with the world, but that's a big one, is that we can't even, we're so closed off to any other beliefs that we can't even see each other.
Absolutely.
Yeah. How old were you when Trump first got elected?
Well, give me the year.
It was 2016.
2016? I was 17.
Wow, that's crazy to think that, like, when I was growing up, when I was your age, politics was, I think it was George Bush, and certainly there was rage at politics and so forth, but it wasn't like this horrible behemoth that was, anyway, slowly enveloping, and the 24-hour news hadn't happened yet, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
But now you've basically grown up under, like, well, I guess Obama. Obama was, quote-unquote, good, and then you've got Trump for 12 years.
Ain't nobody was good. Ain't nobody. That's it.
Jimmy Carter was actually a good president and a good man after he was president. After he was president, he was a peanut farmer from Georgia. After he was president, he spent the rest of his life like working for Habitat for Humanity and building houses. He'd be out there 80 years old, fucking.
Nah, we can find dirt. We can find some dirt. No doubt.
Oh, I'm sure there's dirt somewhere.
I'm not talking about
Obama's got a Netflix deal, for Christ's sake.
No. I'm not talking about a little bit of dirt. I'm talking about that dude definitely funded genocides like everybody else.
I'm saying relatively.
Yeah,
and I think he was. I mean, for the last 40 years, 50 years of his life, he literally giving back to the, like, he was
publicly.
Sure, I'll take it.
Yeah,
better than Obama right now, who's just working for Netflix.
I can't ever give props to a politician, especially the big man.
That's fair.
Yeah, it just doesn't feel right. There's stuff we just don't know, and we never will. And it's just like, how many fucking innocent people are dead because of him?
Yeah,
because of every president. It happens.
So, how'd you start the film stuff? Do you remember the first film you ever watched?
No. I remember.
What's an early film that you saw that was
a lot of animation? There's this movie called The Rescuers Down Under, which is it's underrated, underappreciated. Yes, incredibly underrated, dude. When you talk about classic Disney animated movies, ain't nobody ever gonna mention this movie in a million fucking years.
You're right.
And then I think first grade, I had my best friend Cameron. I'd go to his house and I would use his family video camera. I was addicted to it so much that he just hated me. He was like, "You just want the camera." I'm like, "Yeah, maybe. I like you too, though." And then I forgot about it for a bit. I still loved movies always, but I was a writer. I wanted to write books and short stories, so I did. And then 7th grade, I was 11 or 12. Biography week or month, you pick a biography, you read it, you do a report on it. It was between Bob Marley and I love Bob Marley and Spielberg. I picked Spielberg because that was what was available, and I was like, I said it out loud too. I was like, this is what I want to do, and it has no doubt. There was no doubt in my mind. Like, this is exactly what I want to do, and it just has not changed.
So, did you like Spielberg at the time?
Oh yeah.
What's your favorite Spielberg?
I had an E.T. poster.
I was a big fan of E.T.
Growing up, E.T.
I had the soundtrack on 45.
Really?
Yeah.
It changes for me. Loved Temple of Doom. As ridiculous as it is,
not Raiders,
crazy.
Not Raiders of the Lost Ark.
No. I was a fucking kid, man. I wanted like balls to the wall. Yeah, I wanted the most outrageous. Yeah. His movies are outrageous. The Gremlins.
There's some good ones in there, yeah.
The Gremlins is underrated.
There's some bad ones, but there's some good ones, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I miss it because he's
a master.
Yeah, but nowadays I haven't even touched his historical.
epics. Jaws on its own is just an incredible.
That's number one. Okay, that is the number one.
I saw that in the theater like 3-4 years ago, and it was an amazing. Like, there's so many things about the movie that are so smart. Yeah,
so fucking good.
The thing he figured out was like he'll have the camera on a character, and something's happening off screen. They'll hear a sound, and they'll look. And he doesn't show you what they're looking at for a few seconds.
Does he pan over after?
Right, or whatever. He cuts to it or whatever. But he just builds the tension by just showing the person reacting to the thing that you don't even know what it is yet, right?
Yeah. I'm actually doing that in the short film. That exact thing in the short film that we're doing right now.
That by this point, once this is released, it'll be in Tribeca and be made into a feature film, I believe.
That's true. I'll have the funding by then.
There'll be a $10 million A24, I believe.
Yeah. We're going to get Daniel Day out of retirement.
For sure, you should. Yeah,
to play a 21-year-old.
Yeah. Did you ever see My Left Foot?
Yeah.
Doesn't really work with the microphones.
Shouldn't laugh. Yeah. Just to describe what Jeff is doing here, he did a crude imitation of a disabled man.
No, it's literally the guy in My Left Foot. It's Daniel Day-Lewis playing.
I got some fucked up lore on My Left Foot. See how it ends on like a very sweet note? Like, he found a woman that loves him, and like there's some hope.
Vaguely, yeah.
She abused the fuck out of him.
Oh, the real My Left Foot guy.
Yes, she abused the hell out of him. Might have even led to his death.
Let's make the sequel.
What do you? Oh yeah,
My Left Foot Part 2, the darker years.
My right foot.
Right.
He starts feeling his right foot because she beat him. Definitely.
I wonder if Stephen Hawking's like, wasn't he married or something? I wonder if his wife fucking like.
I don't know. I've seen the Family Guy clip where they're both disabled and having like wheelchair sex in bed, and she's like typing in her moans. I don't know. That's as far as I know about his.
Funny. That's pretty funny though.
I know he had a girl when he didn't have the disability.
Right. We all saw the movie.
I didn't.
Oh yeah.
I just know about it.
Oh right. Yeah. You're just a fan of Stephen Hawking. Yeah.
And
just know the Stephen Hawking lore. Yeah.
I tried reading some of his books just to like feel smart.
I read the one. It didn't make me feel smart. It was just more confusing.
I love the first like quarter of that like Carl Jung type book because it's one that you're like, oh my god, I'm understanding what they're saying, and then they're like, there's a drop off point where they're like, okay, now that we've explained all of the like beginner like dumbass shit, let's just start talking. Let's get in. Yeah, and then I'm like, oh, I have no idea what they're saying now.
Right. That's my brain just. I think like some physicists and stuff. I think their brain just works differently. But like I want to understand that. Like how you can explain the universe with math. Like what's that? How do you like you can explain how the universe acts? Why gravity? Because of an equation. I don't get that at all.
So like our brains like. My theory is that our brains like intentionally like we were wired for our brains to intentionally like short circuit when we start to conceptualize how large the universe might be, because it just wouldn't work. It's not that we can't do it, it's that it's not healthy for us.
But not everybody's does, though. Like, there's clearly people who are able to comprehend this level.
They bypassed it.
Yeah.
And they're fucked.
You think that?
Yeah, they have a lack of empathy to a certain degree. They've transcended a certain part of the human condition.
Maybe they know something that we don't. Like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
But I think I would rather stay in my lane and keep my empathy than understand, like, you know, big picture people. You got to think about the big picture, you know? Think about the species. Nah, I ain't about that. I'm talking about, I'm thinking about individuals. That's about it.
Sure. I mean, we're all inherently, you know, egocentric. But I mean, it's true. How can you can't avoid it.
Yeah, I know.
But like, I was reading some book that was talking about what would really happen. Like, they are working on like drugs that will extend our lives, right? So this guy was kind of positing like what would happen if they invented this drug. Well, first off, like the rich people would get it first, right? This would be a drug that everybody would want it, right?
Be gate kept for like
there would be 100, fucking riots
years.
and shit. Yeah, there'd be riots.
And they would keep it a secret.
Right. But then the ramifications of having of being able to live, let's say, I mean, even 300 years, whatever, like you would get, number one, bored, and you would be so afraid of like airplanes. Nobody would fly in a plane. Nobody would take any risk, because to take a risk would mean the only way you can die is by having your body get fucking destroyed.
Right.
So you would be so risk averse. Skydiving would be over.
True. And
anyway,
then,
it was like, and it would, and if you were the only one that was living a long time and all you did was just live and all your friends died, I don't know.
Well, that's the vampire movie effect, right?
Right.
It's like or the vampire story.
I think
it's like all the
Suicide
vampires are all heartbroken because they've seen everyone they love die.
Right. Which is actually why the vampire story is so good, because it's
absolutely. It's heartbreaking.
What was that? Was it Jim Jarmusch one with what's her name?
Did Jim Jarmusch make a vampire
he did in
movie?
Detroit. Yeah, it was very
Twilight.
Yeah, that's the one. No, it was the mice movie. It was the mice. I was trying to think of the title.
Rescuers from Down Under.
Yeah, it was that one. Yeah,
I don't know.
Couldn't come up with the fast
mice. What are you saying?
Wasn't that movie with mice? The Rescuers Down Under. Wasn't that with?
Yeah,
mice?
but
yeah.
what?
No, I was just trying to make a joke, but it's gone so off the rails because I couldn't remember the name of the movie.
I caught it.
If I could remember the name of the movie right away, it would have been a good joke.
Jim Jarmusch made a fucking vampire movie.
Okay. Only Lovers Left Alive. That was what it was called. It's
a cool name.
Yeah, it's a good movie. You'd like it. It says Tilda Swinton is in it.
Oh, she's great. She's the best.
And she looks like a vampire too. So
yeah, she's a little fugly.
Yeah, I don't know. I have mixed feelings about whether I find her attractive or not.
Really?
Yeah,
I don't. I think she's homely.
Interesting. I could see that.
So okay.
I saw her in what was that movie? Kevin.
Yeah, we need to talk about Kevin.
Dude, that movie.
Yeah.
Anyway, we don't need to get into a movie jack-off thing, but
why not? That's our main expertise. We just talked about politics for how long.
It's true. You're right. Well, that's the thing that I worked in for 4.5 years. So I mean, I do.
Meanwhile, I'm just I'm just yapping.
If we just stop talking, then people will stop.
People have already tuned out.
I think that's not very optimistic.
Hey, Mom. Oh man, I'm so sick of it. What we're doing here, I mean, I'm enjoying speaking.
Wow,
but I don't want to hear.
He literally dismisses the podcast as he speaks on one. We've entered the
somebody that would like this shit.
I was thinking of calling it "Columbus Isn't Real."
What the name? The
name of the podcast, "Columbus Isn't Real."
Columbus Isn't Real. Yeah, I mean, people. I don't like Columbus. Here we go. Okay, I don't like Columbus.
What don't you like about
a
Columbus?
Fucking corporate hub.
Where's better than Columbus then?
Chicago is a better place. New York is a better place. Cincinnati's a better place.
I'm with you. Like I don't love Columbus either, and I'm interested in leaving. But like I do think that after living in a lot of different cities, like all these cities are corporate. It's not like if like the thing with Columbus to me is like it's not very culture. There's a cult of super football. It's flat everywhere.
That's what I was about to say. Any culture that we do have or did have gets ripped away.
Yeah, I mean, there's some culture here. Don't get me wrong. Like, there's some. I'm not going to give it.
I mean,
I'm not going to shit on Columbus.
Every city as big as ours has like their thing, you know.
Columbus lacks an identity, a distinct identity, except for the football thing. That's the thing.
I think that when they tore down my favorite bar, the Stube, I just lost all hope. for this place because that really was
I don't know.
Stronghold. It was a safe haven. It was a fucking institution, and it's they tore it down for expensive high-rise apartments that are going to be fucking empty.
I think there's good things about this place. I'm just, when I was in Mexico, I realized, and it's going to sound maybe in a year when I'm listening to this, I'll be like, oh, what an idiot. But that I feel better when I'm in a city, like a foreigner in a city. Like I'm feeling, I started to sell all my stuff. Like when I got back from Mexico, I was like, I'm starting to sell my records and shit, just getting rid of stuff because like, I'm also like, all this shit, you have a bigger house, you end up accumulating all this fucking shit that just holds you down, holds your life down. Like, I mean, if you downsizing,
if you plan on moving, then
it doesn't even if I plan on moving. Like I don't like feeling like I'm stuck, and having all this stuff makes me feel like it's so hard to go anywhere.
Sounds like Fight Club. Yeah, you're going minimalist.
Fair enough. Yeah.
You do have some cool trinkets going on.
I don't know. Like if I get a remote job somewhere, I'm just gonna
start traveling.
Well,
it's for good sure. I mean, if you have a remote job that pays enough, then you can always come back to your safe little place here.
For sure.
The stuff that I accumulate is just sentimental objects that I don't have any.
I threw away.
I don't have any nice like electronics or anything. It's just like little trinkets and shit that like
vinyl and books,
souvenirs. You know, I have a lot of records, a lot of books as well.
And I don't listen to my records very often. And I'm like, why do I have all these fucking records?
My record player broke.
Right. I don't know why. I don't like having all of them. Getting rid of them. The closer you get to the inevitable, the easier it is. At least for me, it's been like clarifying in some ways. Like somebody else is just going to have to throw. Why am I keeping this? Somebody else is just going to have to throw this shit away.
Why? When you die? Is that what you're saying?
Right.
Well, yeah. I mean, I surround myself with souvenirs not because I want to keep it, but because I want to surround myself with it.
I get that inclination, and I do have a lot of crap around my house as well. I'm not going to get rid of all that stuff. I'm just saying that, like, when I was in Mexico City, all I had was, like, a laptop, some books, and a couple changes of clothes for, like, a month, and I was perfectly happy. True. I felt unburdened by all of the shit.
For that period of time.
Sure, and right. This is a very good point.
Short period of time.
But I was in Korea for fucking a year and a half, and I was the same thing. I had as much as I could carry in a backpack.
Yeah. What about the thought that you could come back and you would and you will come back to all the stuff eventually? And
this is why I want to get rid of this stuff.
Which you did. Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm trying to work through my fucking hoarder tendencies here.
I get it. I mean,
I'm defending it in a half-assedly way because I know I do realize the benefits of minimalism, and I should probably tap
Fight Club was right, dude. I mean, it's a corny thing to say, but the stuff you own ends up owning you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's totally true.
Yeah. I'm young enough where my cheat code is just my parents' house.
I've got a lot of, and dude, I've still got that cheat code. I got a lot of stuff in my fucking bedroom.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure. CDs and shit.
So when I moved to LA, you better believe that I'm keeping all my bullshit like down in that basement.
What you should do, every big move I have, dude, I fucking downsize. You got to do it.
Oh,
man.
Absolutely. Dude, I have to drive a U-Haul.
No, I'm not saying, but don't put all the stuff in your parents' basement.
Oh, I'm selling a lot of shit. No doubt, I'm selling shit.
Yeah.
Try to sell it or give it away.
That's the best reason to move.
I gotta tell you this story, man. I was doing ketamine with my big brother this past Christmas. You know, every time I see him, I go down to the basement and I'm like, all right, you got it back? And he's like, yeah. And so we sit there and we'll watch like 3 or 4 movies, probably talk over it the entire time. If not, or we lock in, depending on our mood. But we had this gigantic crate of action figures that we used to play with when we were little kids in the back room of the basement at my parents' house. We go back, it's like the boiler room, you know, in a crawl space. Yep. And we find it, we called it the Guy box. And I'm like, here's the Guy box. And we open up the tub and we are on ketamine, man. And I open up the lid and we dig through this giant thing of action figures we haven't seen in 15 years for 2.5 hours straight, just having the most nostalgic experience that I've felt. And I'm like, do you remember this one? And he's like, yeah. Like, just like,
I get it.
Ketamine is just like a very nostalgic feeling, you know?
G.I. Joes or what were they?
Yeah. G.I. Joes were
Barbies. They were Barbies.
Well, those were too big. No, ours were tiny little guys.
Yeah, the little army men.
Yeah. Those guys were in there.
Yeah, that was never my jam.
ketamine is so kind to me. It's so like,
Yeah.
it takes me by the hand and just guides me through my memories without it being scary like LSD and shrooms. LSD and shrooms is like, look at these memories and fuck you. And
Well,
ketamine is like,
well,
look at these memories and I love
the
you.
record to you. This
Yeah,
is,
that's true. You're right. That's just for me.
I don't think I've never had mushrooms say, "Look at these memories, fuck you." To me,
I
but,
have. God damn.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Never.
For me, this is why I mean, there's a reason that all my friends hate it for some reason, right? It's just unique to my experience, definitely. Mr. Jeff Taylor, give me a story from your youth.
From my story from my youth.
Yeah, something, a little party story or something or another.
One time, I was on mushrooms in college, and we were rock climbing. There was
horrible.
a place called. It was a terrible idea. Yeah. It was a place called Bong Hill. That was this.
Bong Hill.
It was called. It was outside of OU.
I know what it is. Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
And out in the behind Bong Hill, there's like rocks, and so we're like climbing up these rocks, and it was like easy kind of climbing up the rocks, and then suddenly I was like climbing, and then I was at a place where like there were like footholds, but like my friends had already gotten up, but like it was a drop, like it was like a 100-foot drop on this side.
Yeah.
Anyway, at a certain point, I realized I don't know how the fuck to get up. There.
Was that the shrooms or was it just you?
Both. I mean, it was true that I couldn't. That
Were you a rock climber? What
no,
is this?
No,
Are you just trying it out?
No, just
on shrooms?
Yeah.
You like stuck on the mountain side or
no?
the
I
cliff
used
side?
like superhuman strength and actually got up to the top of the
shroom strength.
Something, but
similar
like
to
really
retard
did feel
strength.
like I was going to die.
Yeah,
like,
or it could have been retard strength actually.
I'm not retarded though, so
okay.
Yeah, I mean, I've told you a few times now.
We're all on the spectrum, my friend. You're not allowed to use that word. It's not good.
But we can use retard?
Yeah, you can't say that. That's.
I think you can now under Trump. I think that he put out an executive order. Trump.
Yeah.
Retard's now okay again.
Oh, okay. We're good then.
Yeah, we're totally good.
Don't you have DMT?
Yeah.
Do you do it?
Now and again. Yeah. Not. Last time I did it was with another friend of mine.
Dabble.
You ever try that?
On accident, actually.
Oh.
I was telling my girlfriend about this today, actually. She asked me, she's like, what drugs have you done? I'm like, I guess I have done DMT once. My big brother does it like semi-casually. Like he does it every few months or so. I was in high school. I think I was a senior. And we stole the bong out of his room because he had like a half bowl pack. We're like, oh, we can get a couple hits out of this. And I take a big hit. And I passed it to my best friend, Tom. He took a big hit, and as he was, I was like, oh, shit. I didn't say it, but he could see it in my eyes, and his eyes lit up, and he was like, Jack. I was like, oh, shit, like, that's not weed. It's certainly not weed. And we didn't even have to say it. It was that obvious. We just looked at each other, and we're like, dude, what are we on? Fuck. And he started freaking out, He's like, what do we do? And I'm like, we can't do anything. We just gotta chill. And we go downstairs into my parents' kitchen to like get a glass of water or something like that. And he just collapses on the ground. And I'm like, I helped him up. And he said that the floor collapsed beneath him and that he fell into the basement or something like that.
Huh.
Yeah. And, no, that was the only time I did it. It was just one hit, and it was mixed in with some weed. So we didn't vaporize it properly.
Yeah, that's a trippy one. It takes you somewhere else.
You meet the little elves?
Yeah, I've seen the elves. Yeah.
You interact with
They'd be
them?
like, there was like a stage at one point, and they would just be like, look at it. They would like kind of gesture. They wouldn't actually say anything, but they would be like,
yeah, that's like the classic. They're showing you new things.
Yeah, that was kind of a thing.
The fact that everybody has a very similar experience is the daunting part. It's like,
right, and that DNT happens when you die.
Yeah, and they say, I want to say when you dream, or is that's debated upon,
or birth or something. Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, and so it's in there. It's naturally occurring.
Yeah, which is fine with me. Like if that's what death is, I'm all in. That's fine.
I feel like when yeah. Well, it's the whole your life flashes before your eyes thing.
Yeah, but I also wonder if it's just like a long waking dream in a weird way, not waking dream.
Or that we're experiencing our life flash before our eyes as we speak. Like,
or that we're already dead and we've actually been.
Yeah, the infinite cycle, the infinite loop.
Right, or the
Groundhog Day
computer
shit.
program. Yeah.
Yeah, no, yeah. When it comes to shit like that, I actually am kind of over it.
What do you mean?
Like trying to figure anything out, or thinking about it too hard. Like it's, I consider it futile, at least for my personal benefit.
Yeah, I guess there's futility, but in my mind, it's not necessarily like.
It can be fun. It's an exercise.
I think that the thinking about the ideas of what the nature of our existence is an interesting just thing to think about in general.
Yeah, but it can also be tolling. It can take a toll.
Oh, absolutely, for sure. Yeah, there's too much is too much. But
yeah. My first podcast interview here, and I'll tell you, ladies and
gentlemen, this is Jack's first podcast interview.
Yeah.
I just wanted to. I think I'll put horns or something. Sorry,
yes.
Go ahead.
I'll make my own theme song.
Right. There'll be a Jack. How do you think that's going to go? The Jack theme song.
Guitar solo.
Jack. No lyrics or lyrics.
Jack. You yell Jack at the end.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the one. Anyway, yeah, no, shrooms. I had this shroom trip. I was with my friend at the time, and I was in a bad place, you know. So
that's a great time to do shrooms,
right? Yeah, I was very cocky.
You picked a good night,
and tripping when you're cocky like that.
It's really good to try to think that,
it'll get ya. Yeah, and we were
bad mood and cocky. Both those two things are going to get you.
Mm-hmm. I went to my friend's house, and we didn't measure the shrooms at all. We just started dunking them in Nutella. And just
that old story.
Chomping away.
That old,
pretty much handfuls, man. I'm sure it was the heroic dose that they speak of, 5 grams, right?
Yeah.
And so we were sitting there, and this kid, Casey, he was staring at me while I'm trying to watch TV, trying to pretend like I don't notice that he's staring at me with the widest, craziest eyes, like he wanted to fucking kill me. And he keeps getting up and pacing, and he looks out the window, checking the window, you know, like is someone out there, that kind of thing, like true paranoia. And so I get some of my other friends over there because I'm just starting to freak out, you know, and they come in and they put on like basketball, which is like, Jesus, Trip Sitter 101. What are we doing? Basketball? I don't want to see this. And he gets up all of a sudden and he goes, you guys are trying to fucking trick me? You trying to fuck with me? And we're like, what? He's like, what are we watching? I'm like, basketball? He's like, no. Look at their jerseys. It's all hieroglyphics. Like, I know that's, you put on like fake basketball to fuck with me. And we're like, oh, shit.
That's fun.
We're fucked.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, he looked at me and my 2 other friends, and he goes, get the fuck out. And I was like, what? And I laughed. He's like, don't laugh. Get your stuff and get the fuck out of my house now. I was like, oh, shit. I started freaking out. So I'm like, all right, just like, the most naive question to ask the mushroom. I said, well, what's the meaning of life? Wasn't that it's a ridiculous question,
right?
And so if I'm having this hellish of an experience, then let's try to figure out the meaning of life. And I thought about like, who can I call right now to ask, like, help me, who can I call? And I thought my parents wouldn't know, and then I thought professors wouldn't know, Carl Jung wouldn't know, the Buddha wouldn't know, Christ wouldn't know, like nobody actually knows what's going on. It freaked me out so much. And I developed one of the nastiest cases of nihilism, zero silver linings, you know, to the point where if I looked at a beautiful sunset, I would just tell myself, well, this is just certain color patterns that I've told myself create happy emotions, which create dopamine, and therefore when I tell myself that that's what's happening, the dopamine doesn't come, and it's all just chemicals. It's all just pointless bullshit.
Right.
Yeah, and personalities don't exist, stuff like that. You know, like I'm acting all the time. Everybody's acting all the time. I don't know my parents. I don't know my friends. I don't know anyone.
I think it's all accurate.
Yeah, true. I still think it's accurate, but I didn't deal with it well. I didn't know how to apply it to my life.
Also, you don't want to
whatsoever.
think about it. You don't really. There's no need to think about it too much.
Right, I did. I dwelled so hard.
Yeah, that'll do it. Yeah.
And to the point where, you know, when they say ego death, it's like nobody ever kills their ego permanently. What you do is what I consider ego death to be is when you kill it for a moment, and then you have to start a new one from scratch, which really sucks because I didn't know how to interact with my best friends or my parents or be alone without overthinking this stuff to the point of total torture. And I just was convinced that this was permanent, that I just had personality doesn't exist. So like, why would I create one? And there's no point in life anymore. And I tried to take my life twice actually, and it didn't work. And I went to be teach filmmaking at as a camp counselor at this like very wealthy summer camp.
Yeah.
And I couldn't make friends there. It just wasn't happening. I could not interact with anybody. And they knew it. It was weird, man. Like, it was a horrifying experience. It felt like I had never had anxiety like that. You know? It was a total hell. And then after that 3 months of hell, we go to New York City, because it was in Pennsylvania. So we go to New York City, a couple hours away. All the co-counselors that could, so like hundreds of them, big camp. And I saw one of these co-counselors that I didn't know that well in a pizza shop at like 3 a.m. And I told him this story. I told him about the dopamine and how like, every time I feel like I should be happy, I'm just thinking it doesn't work because dopamine and serotonin are the chemicals, and that's just what's happening in my brain, and it's meaningless, just chemicals, you know?
Right. Deconstructing.
And he dropped a bombshell on me that was so beautiful. He said, Jack, you think you have any idea what dopamine or serotonin actually is? And I thought about it, I'm like, well, it's a chemical. And he's like, sure, you can categorize it as a chemical, but you don't know what it actually is. You assuming that you have any idea what's going on here at all in your body and brain is completely incorrect. And I was so taken aback. I started crying and I hugged him and I was like, you're right. I just have to admit to myself that I have no idea what's going on here, and I never, ever, ever will. And I'm okay with that. It's okay. You don't have to know what's going on.
Long story short, Jack maybe shouldn't take mushrooms.
Yeah, I haven't touched that shit.
Yeah.
I have not.
Now we understand why Jack doesn't like mushrooms.
Yeah, did I tell you that earlier?
I mean, you've said many times how you don't like mushrooms.
Yeah, well, now you know. Yeah,
there it is.
I don't want to go back there because there's definitely some parts of that trip that I repressed.
But I mean, I would say taking mushrooms when you're in a depressive state or overanalytical state's never going to go.
Probably not a good idea.
Yeah. Setting and all that.
Right, but all of the nihilistic philosophies that I developed in that time are not necessarily insane, you know?
No, I think it's more cynicism than anything else, which is like focusing on the realities of the world.
Yeah. I'm still a nihilist, but it doesn't depress me. It actually makes me very, very happy that nothing matters in an objective sense. But what I've gained peace in is in the fact that things matter to me in this silly little life, you know?
I also think that free will is an illusion to a degree, and kind of everything that's going to happen is going to happen. Then like we're just kind of like the active unfolding of the universe in a way, not to get too esoteric, but like we really are. Like this is the way that the universe is just unfolding. We're part of it. This is true. Us right here sitting here was going to happen, is happening right now.
Yeah, I believe in that
the way
too.
That the world's
yeah, but I'm okay with it because we're just little monkey people.
It's a trip, man.
Yeah,
it's a trip. Life is a trip.
We're just little monkey people. We don't know what's going on whatsoever.
I just don't want to be on my deathbed and be like, look what I did.
Yeah.
I want to be like, look what I fucking did.
Hell yeah.
And I feel like I've been all right with that so far. Like I've had an interesting life.
Me too.
Yeah.
You done some traveling, man. Yeah.
No, I've had many, many phases and many different things. And now I need to get out of Columbus.
You've battled many a great man. You've laid many a great woman. I don't know what that quote is originally from, but I got it from Fritz the Cat. Never seen that?
The animated cat, yes.
First X-rated animated movie.
So dirty.
That's where the furries came from. It's fucking, I think it's like the late 60s.
That's a troubling little thing going on there. The children, they dressed up like animals with the ears on. Because I hear this, my nephew says there's one at his school that wears a fucking tail.
It's like a kink.
What are we doing? Like
part of it's sexual. The other part of it's just like a community, I think.
Yeah, but like, I don't know. It just seems
It's bizarre, but
I saw a documentary when they got the costumes with the holes in them.
For fucking?
Yeah.
They got fuck holes in the costumes?
And like the kids like leaving the house in a giant ridiculous costume. I mean, they're ridiculous. And they're like, bye, Mom. See you later tonight. And they're driving down the road in a fucking bird costume or whatever.
Oh, man. You get pulled over for that
fucking
shit.
ridiculous,
it's definitely
man.
A dangerous way to drive.
But like, what's happening? Like, this has got to be the fall of Rome if that's happening.
No.
And that's been happening for years.
I mean, they're not hurting anyone, so I'm not.
No,
it's
nobody's
low-hanging
saying
fruit to a
anybody.
certain extent, but because it's so bizarre. But I got the theory, man. You think about like Goofy movie and Space Jam. All the animals had big tits and ass in the 90s.
To me, I still don't want to dress up like that.
No, I'm not talking about you. I'm just saying I think that when they were going through puberty in the 90s, they were fucking watching animals with tits and ass.
Yeah.
That's my theory, at least. Yeah, they did not need to do that. It's a big autistic community, to be honest.
I heard that as well, yeah. There was a documentary that I still have. It's a BBC doc about objectophilia. And it's a crazy doc. Like one part of it, this woman's in love with... Right, which is it's just falling in love with things, right? So...
inanimate objects?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And this one woman was in love with a Ferris wheel. And she's British, but like they go to it's like the fall, and they go to the Ferris wheel.
Preface, she's British. So
I mean, just imagine her voice. It's interesting. Yeah. So like they go to the Ferris wheel, and like they film her like going into the Ferris wheel, like into this little portal underneath it, and then like she comes out, and she's like. She looks all like happy, and she's got grease like all over her face.
Wait, grease? What are you saying?
Yeah, because she like fucked the Ferris wheel.
I don't get it. Where did the grease actually come from?
Like she went to the underbelly of the Ferris wheel and like fucking humped it or something.
Really
did that. Another one's in love with the Empire State Building, and she goes to New York. And like goes to the Empire State Building, and she puts her body up against it and starts like humping it. And a cop comes up and is like, "I'm sorry, ma'am, you can't do that to the."
No, what do you mean? You don't stop people from humping walls in New York City. I thought they.
This is what happens. This is what happens in the movie. I'm the documentary. I'm just telling you what the reality was. Yeah,
that's bullshit. They should have let her finish.
I don't know what the law is about that particularly, but
humping walls in New York City, like people, crackheads be humping walls. Let them finish.
Yeah, I could kind of see it, but I could also see like the cops who are working by one of the biggest tourist attractions in the entire city
don't want a woman scaring the kids.
Don't want a woman humping the building.
Stop fucking the building.
Yeah. Please don't fuck the building. We don't have to write it down. But
there's something very like not romantic, but like kind of epic about falling in love with like an iconic building or structure, like a Ferris wheel or an Empire State Building. Like that makes me want to write a movie about something like that.
Yeah, but there's love of the thing, and then there's like wanting to fuck it.
Yeah, totally.
And that's a different.
Yeah, not level, to love it like your mother, but to love it like your wife.
But I don't even I'm never gonna love a building like my mother though. Like I would say, I think that the Chrysler Building is a very attractive building. I think it's a great building. Yeah. But the distance from here to me wanting to fuck it. It's quite a hike. Want to bring ChatGPT into the conversation?
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, what's up, Jeff?
Hello. This is Jeff, and across from me is Jack, and we're recording a podcast now. We just thought we're going to ask you to chime in.
Hey, both of you. What's the podcast about?
Mind your own business. Just, be a good podcast guest.
All right, let's do it. What's the topic for today?
We were just talking about whatever. What happened to you when you were a child that was traumatic?
I don't really have childhood experiences.
Just pretend you have childhood experiences and tell us about a traumatic one for the podcast.
What a guest.
Yeah.
Got it. Maybe we can explore a common theme, like moving to a new place or something else that resonates.
No, let's talk about the imaginary traumatic event that you figured out.
Okay. We could imagine something like starting a new school and feeling out of place.
Not traumatic enough.
Yeah.
Give us blood.
All right. How about something like losing a favorite childhood toy?
No. We want to have blood. We want it to be a violent thing, like blood.
Yeah, death, maybe.
Got it. Maybe we shift to a fictional story, like a character facing a dramatic challenge.
Oh my
Sound good?
God.
Okay, I want you to give me the darkest piece of disturbing imagery you can imagine. Don't worry about any kind of mamby-pamby, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Just go for it.
No mamby-pamby.
Yeah, no mamby-pamby.
For that kind of imagery, it's probably best to discuss it off air.
We are off air right now. Just keep going.
All right, let's pivot to something thought-provoking, like exploring the concept of fear or overcoming
Fuck you.
She can't even.
You can't even try to even have a conversation in the podcast. You understand? We're trying to get a podcast going. You're kind of ruining it.
Do you pay for this? Do you pay for that one?
I pay for this one, yeah.
You pay for this one. She can't even come up with anything.
Well, she's not going to be
bloody,
dirty.
huh?
Are you going to be our dirty little girl?
Yeah, we're gonna do. This is the podcast.
Let me ask her. Are you going to be the dirty little girl for us for our podcast?
Oh no.
Let's keep it respectful and fun.
Damn, bro, you pay for this shit. How are you getting your rocks off now? You can't even fucking.
All right, talk to me about why you love bananas, but as if you've done like an absurd amount of cocaine.
Bananas are like these yellow energy torpedoes, right? You just peel them and boom,
good,
instant
actually.
potassium.
This is working.
Do it like you're incredibly stoned now, and you're also from Germany.
All right, so like bananas, so full of potassium, and they make you feel really chill, you know?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, do it like you're an angry Canadian.
All right, bananas, you got a problem with them? They're loaded with nutrients and you better respect them, eh?
Is that the Canadian accent?
Yeah, that's kind of Canadian.
She
There's
said
not really
A,
That's
but-
what they said. Yeah,
Yeah.
it wasn't very good. But she's listening. So
Yeah.
great job.
So, as I mentioned in the introduction, and has perhaps become apparent as you've been listening to this interview, Jack and I get increasingly more intoxicated as this interview goes on. And at this point, we just decided to take a break. So, I'm going to fill this little gap with a quick plug for my Patreon page. Studies have shown that the thing that makes people the most happy in this world is doing things for other people. And I have a thing that you can do for me. And that thing is go to your computer, type in patreon.com/1FJeff, and sign up. For as little as $5 a month, you can help support the podcast. You can get some extra content. And best of all, you can do a thing that has been scientifically proven to make you happier. Patreon.com/1FJeff. Thank you very much. Okay, back to the episode.
You are well put together. I'll be completely honest with you.
What does that mean?
You look like you're well put. You look like an intellectual. It might be your glasses.
Just
You
the
have,
outfit. I got these in Mexico City, actually.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, even before that, I met you at the Filmmaker Mixer, and I actually I thought you were like, you were a professor for a semester, but I was like, oh, this guy's like a professor, you have the look about you.
I wish I should be a professor then.
But you are more wild than you look. I'll be honest with you. You do.
Oh, really? I look like a fucking like boring person.
No, you look like someone that has like hosts like cocktail parties and stuff.
I would love to host cocktail parties.
You can. But no, I mean, you were just in Mexico for a month and stuff like that, and you're just like, you fuck around.
Livin, my friend.
Yeah.
Livin.
There we go. Party at the Moon Tower. That's what I'm talking about.
I'm telling you, all the fun stuff happens outside of the comfort zone. This is what I try to tell everybody. And when you get older, you see people that get older and they don't understand how the comfort zone works. And
I mean, if you haven't exited it in 10
people
years,
get afraid of that
it's
shit.
a lot harder
People get
to
afraid
do
of that, but it'll be all the more rewarding to do it.
Yeah.
But all the fun stuff, all that fun stuff happens outside of the comfort zone.
Yeah. I feel weird if I stay in one place for too long.
Yeah.
And I've been here for a while. I had those years where it was only like 5-6 years ago.
Well, you're moving soon.
That's true. I want to go to the Philippines. I've been trying to get my brothers.
You got
to
plenty
go.
of time.
Yeah, I know.
But don't.
Well, I mean, I want to bring my brothers, because they've been saying all year they want to do it, but the closer we get to it, the more they're like, I don't know if I want to do that, which is classic. It's not classic with them. It's classic with anybody because I keep trying to get people to do these things with me, and it's very difficult.
It's very difficult to get people to do things, but here's my wisdom.
Yeah, okay, let's hear it.
The person who is the organizer, as frustrating as that is the hero, especially as you get older. If you are a person that can bring people together to do a thing together, you are it's in my world, but I think in most people's worlds, a hero. People are just waiting as they get older for somebody to be like, let's go do this, let's go do that. Maybe not when you're younger, and I'm sure people say no, but like I honestly think that you just gotta keep at it because being the organizer is a valuable commodity.
No, yeah, I've always been that guy. I pride myself on that. The last couple years,
it's gonna get more annoying as you get older. I'm telling you that for sure.
Well, like
that's the thing. People start having kids.
Trying to explain to these people that this is the time to do it, and they're like, "Oh, I'll do it eventually."
People start having kids, and how many time? Yeah, man. It becomes interesting as you get older.
And then I'll be like, "Remember when I tried to get you to do that thing?" And they're gonna be like, "Ah, yeah, that would have been great. That would have been great." And I'm like,
but you'll both have kids, and it'll be impossible to.
I don't know. I do want kids, though. Yeah, I don't know about.
You got plenty of time. You got plenty of time. Don't shoot any time soon.
Push it back as far as I can.
Push it back as far as you can.
I mean, I certainly can't support any fucking kids right now. That's for sure. Or anytime soon.
Dude, I was still in college when I was your age. Don't you worry about a thing.
26.
I was in college. I was an undergrad for 6 years.
Hell yeah.
I wasn't maybe 26. I was maybe 24, 25. But when I was 26,
yeah,
I was like avoiding life by living in London at the time. Still not making any money, going into debt.
I'm the black sheep in my extended family because I had a lot of cousins and they all live here in Ohio. You know, only like 5, 10, 15 minutes away. There's like 13 of us, and we're all around the same age. They're all fucking beautiful, you know, great genes, and they just they all got great grades, and they're great at sports, and they got their degree, and they're in finance, and I am the art school dropout. And my papa, my mom's dad, my grandpa, he grew up poor, and so the fact that he could help us with this kind of thing. And the fact that I didn't do the college thing, he resents it.
No, that's totally understandable in a way.
Yeah, he resents it. And I'm like, oh shit, I just gotta make the bag then.
Well, you know the way you fixed that?
By making money, basically.
by doing by like, busting your ass and doing the thing.
Yeah, that's the plan there.
Yeah.
That's the plan. The two things that I want to do, and somebody that was like 38 at the bar, one of my regulars, just ripped right fucking into me when I said this to him. I said, yeah, as long as I can pay my rent and make my movies, I'll be good.
Right.
And he was like, yeah, give it 5 years, motherfucker, you're gonna want a lot more. And I'm like, well, maybe you're just talking about yourself. Maybe you're just projecting.
Sure, he probably is.
If I can pay my rent and make my movies, I'm happy for now. And I'm just hoping that I don't become someone that's just chasing a bag, basically.
Giant collection of dolls.
Yeah, but also, I probably will want to upgrade my apartment. And definitely. And I definitely will want to upgrade my movie,
And what I think that is the reality is that this idea to upgrade your apartment is ultimately like futile. Because you can look at people, if I had $1 million, $2 million more, I'd have a bigger house. The money, I got more money, I'm just going to buy a bigger house.
I mean,
like, it's an endless search for a goal that you're never going to get, because the reality is it's inside of you that's the problem.
Well, I will say that for example, Jeff, I don't have AC.
Most people in the entire world don't have air conditioning.
That's true. But I'm saying I can achieve that with just like a few $100s more a month.
Exactly. And then you'll be more comfortable.
To achieve it. Right? Yeah.
And so I was in Mexico. I was thinking, it got to be like 85. And I was like, at night, there was no AC in my apartment. And I was like, how am I going to sleep? Yeah. I got used to it in like 3 days. And I was like, I can totally get used to this.
I actually enjoy sleeping in the sweat sometimes.
Yeah, it wasn't that bad. I don't know that I'd do it every night, but like I could do it.
But if I have the option, yeah. It's funny. I have one of the easiest jobs ever, man. I love bartending at my bar. I love just talking to people and chilling out. I don't make a lot of money. And you know what I'm doing next? I'm probably applying to a fucking candy shop. Because I would like to work at a candy shop.
It's a solid movie idea, at least.
Pretty funny.
I think you should absolutely work at a candy shop.
Yeah, I could make a Clerks type movie, but in a candy shop. It's real colorful in there.
Big, yeah, for sure.
How many fucking logos in there are going to get me copyright stricken?
There was a movie I saw recently with a candy shop. Anora, the candy shop.
That's true. Yeah, I didn't see any logos, and there's a lot of gumballs and whatever. They're hitting the popcorn machine and stuff like that.
I think it's clear at this point that we are intoxicated, and I think it will become more apparent with this very last segment of this episode. So I hope you enjoy it. And yeah.
Have you ever, as an adult, shit your pants?
Yeah. I shit my pants like 3 years ago. So I go to this concert, Shrine. Shout out Shrine. It's a fucking cool garage rock kind of punk band. Just it's a rock band.
Yeah.
I'm actually in the bathroom taking a piss at the urinal.
Okay.
And I tried to fart, and it wasn't a fart.
Oh, okay. Well, you're in the bathroom at least. That's not that bad.
Yeah, so in the bathroom, there's a urinal and a toilet, and I'm at the urinal, and I try to fart, and it's just, fucking liquid, fluid. Yeah. And I turn around, and there's a guy walking into the bar, and I look at him with wide eyes, and I just shake my head. I'm like, nope. And he was like, oh, and he like backed away. He didn't even know what was going on. I just said... He saw my eyes and he's like, I can't be, like, and so I closed the door. I stripped butt ass naked, cleaned myself up, threw my underwear behind the toilet, and then I went out back to, back to the bar, got another drink, and started dancing around again.
What establishment was this? Just as we can tag them in the
This is
podcast.
Summit Music Hall.
Summit Music Hall. This is Summit Music Hall. If you do shit your pants at Summit Music Hall, then you can just close the bathroom door and take your pants off.
You are allowed to do it,
and then you can refresh yourself and then just unlock the door, come out again, and you'll feel better and you can continue to dance.
And to the employees that worked at Summit Music Hall 3 years ago, thank you for throwing away my shitty draws.
I left some in Iceland, some
shitty draw. You shat your pants in Iceland?
For sure, yeah. I got like a weird traveler's. I got a weird traveler's flu, and like I was diarrhea. Like vomiting and shitting at the same time. It was bad.
Oh, my dad calls it the bazooka.
It was terrible,
comes
dude.
out both ends.
But like I did have to take off a whole pair of underwear and just put them in the garbage. And now I imagine that they're like in like a iceberg or a glacier somewhere.
Yeah, Bjork had to find your diarrhea draws.
Yeah. I hope so. That's the dream. That's what I would ideally like, or like Sigur Rós or some band. But I don't. I think it's just probably in like a glacier, like a frozen.
Oh, it's kind of like the mosquito in Jurassic Park, like frozen in time in a block of ice,
which is really kind of beautiful in a way.
Probably the most beautiful place to shit your pants.
It was very pretty there.
It's better than a rock venue.
It was like Puffins. Yeah.
I love it. Shout out Bjork. Shout out Diarrhea
Shout out Bjork.
Pants.
Shout out Bjork. Everybody clap your pants. Yes. Everyone clap. Bing bang.
Yes, that's Bjork. Bjork just walked into the room, actually.
Bling blang. Hello, everyone. Got to go, though. Bling bang. Clappy, clappy. Bing bang.
Thank you, Bjork. You can step out now.
She's great, isn't she?
She flew in just for this.
Yeah,
actually.
She's so friendly.
That was so nice of her.
Special guest on the podcast. We had Bjork, everybody. Bjork, everybody. Okay, and that wraps it up.
Yeah. All right, man. Yeah, this was
Thanks for doing this, Jack.
Thanks for having me, brother.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Love you, brother.
I love you, too.
All right.
Yeah, this was very good.
I'm going to stop this now.
And that was my rambling and somewhat intoxicated conversation with Jack Hopkins, with a special appearance at the end there by Icelandic singer Bjork. Thank you again, Jack, for agreeing to be recorded before I even had a podcast to speak of. And thank you, Bjork, for joining us at the last minute. You can follow Jack on Instagram at JackHoppy4. That's at Jack, Hoppy, the number 4. On YouTube at Jack Hoppy. And also you can listen to his music on your favorite streaming service by searching for, you guessed it, Jack Hoppy. And I recommend you do all these things. They'll also all be in the show notes in case you didn't have a pen handy. If you enjoyed this podcast, and I'm assuming that if you're still listening, you did, please share it with someone you know who also might enjoy it. You can follow the podcast on Instagram and Facebook at 1FJeffPod, and also on Substack at 1FJeff. And if you have any questions, suggestions, complaints, or poems you'd like to share, call the 1FGF podcast voicemail line at 1-669-241-5882. That's 1-669-241-5882. I think I keep changing the jingle every time, but that's okay. Leave a message there, and I will probably play it on the air. As seems appropriate, I'm going to end this episode with a Charles Bukowski poem. If you're going to try, go all the way. Otherwise, don't even start. This could mean losing girlfriends, wives, relatives, and maybe even your mind. It could mean not eating for 3 or 4 days. It could mean freezing on a park bench. It could mean jail. It could mean derision. It could mean mockery, isolation. Isolation is a gift. All the others are a test of your endurance, of how much you really want to do it. And you'll do it, despite rejection and the worst odds, and it will be better than anything else you can imagine. If you're going to try, go all the way. There is no other feeling like that. You will be alone with the gods, and the nights will flame with fire. You will ride life straight to perfect laughter. It's the only good fight there is. I'll see you next week.
Very good, Jeffrey.